Happy Valentine's Day, guys! Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make some Valentine's Day dinner herb crusted lamb chops with cinnamon butter sweet potatoes right after this intro.
Girl, you better can't cook. Think you know you pay your pretty look. You want to live a restaurant and come done man bank book. Cook, recipe book.
I'm using 2.5 pounds of lamb chops today. I've already washed and cleaned my lamb chops, so I'm going to now season them, and these are some nice and thin slices. So to start, you're going to need some oil. I have half cup of oil. You can use olive oil, vegetable oil, or the oil of your choice. So to season this, I'm going to be using 2.5 tablespoons of Cajun seasoning, 1.5 teaspoons of onion and garlic powder, a teaspoon of salt, and a quarter teaspoon of black pepper. I'm just adding that all in the oil. Next, I'm going to be adding in some thyme leaves. I'm going to be adding in 1.5 tablespoons of dried thyme leaves. If you don't have dried thyme leaves, of course, you can go ahead and chop some fresh thyme leaves. Next, I'm going in with some dried rosemary leaves. And of course, if you don't have the dry ones, you can chop the fresh ones. And trust me, the rosemary and the thyme leaves are a must add. It gives it such great taste, such great flavor. Now I'm going to be mixing everything together in the oil. Now I'm going to just throw all this on my lamb chops. That's perfect. Get it all out. That's lovely. Now I'm going to ensure that each piece of lamb chop is well coated with the seasoning. You can brush each piece, but I'm just going to use my hand now to rub the seasoning all over every single piece of lamb chop. That's lovely. Every single piece is nice and coated in that seasoning, and you want this to rest for at least half hour before you actually cook them. Now onto the potatoes. I have here 4 pounds of sweet potatoes. Now you can use the potato of your choice, whether it be the orange, the white, or the purple sweet potatoes. So here I've washed and cut them into some small pieces to cook them. That's lovely. Now we're going to boil them. So here I'm adding them to some water that's boiling, and I also added a half teaspoon of salt to the water because you don't want your potatoes to be fresh after you finished boiling them. So I'm just adding them in here. Okay, that's great. So I'm just going to leave this to boil until the potatoes are nice and soft. Then I'm going to check back now on my lamb chops. So I'm going to be using this little grill pan here. You can use a skillet or just a regular frying pan. Now you want to ensure that this is super hot because you need these nice and crispy on the outside. So I'm adding some butter to the pan first. So there you can see the pan is very hot. And that's fine, that's good enough. So now I'm just going to move the butter around just so the entire pan is greased and filled with that butter. And this is unsalted butter I'm using. This is perfect. Now I'm just going to add each piece of lamb chop, enough that can hold on my little grill here. So now I'm going to be adding in some garlic, and you just want to smash the garlics before you add them in. And I'm adding just 6 cloves of garlic here because you need that nice garlic flavor all over your lamb chops. So you want to always keep basting your lamb chops because you want that nice garlic flavor all over. You can also take the pieces of garlic and just rest them on top of each lamb chop and just keep basting it. Just keep adding the butter, all that flavor from the butter and so on all over your lamb chops. Now I like my lamb chops well done, so I'll be doing like 4 minutes on each side. If you like it medium rare, you can do about just 3 minutes on each side or 2 minutes on each side. This is how I like to see mine, so I'm just going to be flipping these just a little bit darker than that for me. Then I'm just going to flip these until they get the desired color. So I'll do that, as I said, 4 minutes on each side because I want mine well done. Now I'm going to move on to check back on the potatoes. The potatoes are nice and soft, they're ready, so I'm going to be throwing the water away, and then I'm just going to get ready to mash my potatoes and add other ingredients. So here it is, the potatoes are still nice and hot. So first things first, I'm going to be adding in some milk. I'm just going to go in with a 1/3 cup of milk. And since this is mashed potatoes, I have to add some butter to it. So I'm adding a half of 100 grams packaged butter. So I'm adding 50 grams right now. And I'm going to also add some cinnamon to this because this is cinnamon butter sweet potato. The cinnamon gives it such a great taste. So I'm going in with up to 3 tablespoons of cinnamon. Yes, I need this filled with cinnamon. The more cinnamon, the better. Now I'm using here a potato masher, and I'm just going to mash the potatoes and get the cinnamon and the butter all in. Now the buttery the better, so I'm going to be adding in some more butter. I'm going in with the rest of the butter here, and I'm just going to use the potato masher again just to get everything nice and combined. And so that's all good for my potatoes right now. I'm just going to cover it. Now back onto my lamb chops. These are all finished. They are well done. I'm going to be removing these. I'm just going to place them on a rack for them to drain. And don't worry, they're net, even though they're well done, it's still nice and soft. That's good. Looking good, tasting good. Now I'm just adding the rest of lamb chops back on my grill. Now I'm going to move on to adding some other things to my pan. I'm just going to be adding on some corn, and you just need to cut your corn into some thin slices just like this, and then that will be perfect. That's lovely. Next, I'm going to be adding on some broccoli. You can always add your favorite vegetables, it's all up to you. And I'm just going to leave the corn and the broccoli on just for about 3 minutes, and then that will be perfect for them. And then I'll give the lamb chops the same treatment as before. I'll leave them for 4 minutes on each side to get them nice and well done. And then after you finish this, your dish is almost complete. All you have to do next is think about sharing your dish in such a great way. Look at how good this looks, and then look at this, guys, the finished product looking good. Trust me, this is tasting so good. You should definitely try this and let me know what you think about this herb crusted lamb chops with cinnamon butter sweet potato for this Valentine's Day. If you like the video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn your post notifications on. Happy Valentine's Day!